Welcome back to Percona Live 2024 in Denver. Right now, I have the MySQL Community Team, Fred and Scott. Point of order, just in case this has to go in front of Congress or the UN. I was on the community team until a year ago, February. So I have some insider information that I will not divulge if I see cash on the table soon. Just kidding. MySQL has made a lot of changes since Oracle took over. And in the past couple of years, Oracle has done a lot of very interesting little things. The one thing I want to bug these two about is the shell and VS Code shell. Workbench was kind of a nice little product, but it had some glitches to it. Is Workbench kind of going to be pushed off to the side, or is the emphasis going to be on the shell and the VS Code shell?
Yeah. Should I? So currently there is no decision, I would say, but we can see that there is less love to Workbench, because Workbench, for all the platform that we support, it's always a different build, different source, different everything. With Visual Studio Code, it's true that it's the same way, the same framework for every build and every architecture, every OS. So it's much easier for us to maintain that. And we think that we will, we are adding more and more stuff in the shell plugin for Visual Studio Code. Mm-hmm. And there is plenty of stuff coming. There was already a lab release some time ago, and there will be a new one very soon also. So stay tuned. You will see plenty of new stuff. But until now, there is no decision on Workbench, because there are plenty of stuff that Workbench is doing that you cannot do in Visual Studio Code yet.
Cool. Now, the other big thing, there was an announcement in March, I believe, about long-term support. That's kind of a big change for Oracle to have long-term support for MySQL, kind of following the Ubuntu model for things, or?
Yeah, the thing here it was that, before 8.0, people were stuck, I would say, for 3 years before having any innovation. Yeah. So they were complaining about that, and after that, we changed the model in 8.0 to have every time a new, at every quarter almost, we had something new.
Yeah.
And then people complain again. Yeah. But the thing is that not everybody were complaining the same way, and it was fun because people say, oh, we want less innovation, but at the same time, when we for example, in 8.0.33, there is less innovation than the previous one. People were saying, oh, what's new in this one, right? Yeah. So it's difficult. So with the new release, it will be much easier to let's say, to make everybody happy.
Okay, cool.
It's like we don't want innovation until we do want innovation. So,
well, it was kind of funny before 8.0. Well, MySQL will ruin your data, do all these horrible things. Tying up the code, so oh my God, you've changed your behavior. How can I do this to it? Because we decided on you to do bad stuff. Well, Percona Live's kind of an interesting show because we have MySQL, we have Postgres, we have MongoDB, we have a lot of cloud stuff, a lot of up-and-coming databases. So with both Postgres and MySQL being 25 years old, is there any more magic to be had out of the old code, or is it just kind of matured and going to get gray hair and wrinkles, and is there any more new big innovation things coming?
I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I think you can have something that is mature and yet still have, must-have features coming down the road. I don't think because a product is 25 years old we can say nothing new is ever going to come again. I think people who might think that might be short-selling the companies themselves or the products themselves. If you're asking, do we know of anything? If we did, we couldn't talk about
it. For the record, there's a product manager here who has not had the official Oracle training or blessing to speak.
Exactly.
And we were going to have him stand outside the glass behind these two with his fingers like a gecko, but he had to go to another thing. I was interested today talking to the folks from Azure who are doing a lot of Microsoft support. 10 years ago, open source and Linux at Microsoft would have been anathema. Now they're doing a lot of hosting and helping folks with MySQL databases. This is a huge change. It's So it's kind of scary. I also was talking to AWS folks who are doing a lot of stuff in the cloud with that.
I think probably the coolest thing that's coming out is the multi-cloud, where you have people who have different pieces of their cloud architecture in different systems, and they're talking to each other seamlessly. That I was like, when I first read about that, I was like, wow, that's cool, And I think after many, many years, Microsoft realized that maybe just only devoting to proprietary software was not going to be conducive to them maintaining their success or maintaining their dominance in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a lot of people who use open source software that might not even know it, and I think that is why we're seeing a lot of companies, Oracle, Amazon, Microsoft, starting to focus more on open source, where they're not viewing it as competition, but just something else that their customers can use just to create solutions.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that's interesting at this show, especially, is we have so many polyglot databases and hybrid configurations where something's in a document database, something's in a relational database. They might be pulling stuff from a graph database. The show is great because we get all this together. We can cross-pollinate. But in your position, you have a great relational database that also does document and all that.
Yeah, I become quite smitten with Document Store. I've been talking about it a lot. I've been playing around with it a lot, and there seems to be, even though it's not new, it's been around for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And there's still times when I talk about it, people are like, wait, what? We can do what? And I think it's a great feature. I think it basically allows the best of both worlds, because you can have your data store set up using an API, just like other NoSQL databases.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier to get data out of there if you need to do complex queries or you need to do reporting or some type of analytics, because that data is actually stored in a MySQL InnoDB table.
Yeah.
And
well, one of the features that MySQL has over, say, Postgres is the JSON table function,
yes,
which lets you take the JSON unstructured data, temporarily structure it, and then process it with SQL.
yes.
By the way, that's not going to be in Postgres 16, so you have another year to use that as a lever.
Yeah, I like. There's a lot of the JSON functionality that I think is really cool, and I think you probably touched on the one that I think is the coolest in MySQL is the, taking an array of data, and now you can treat it like a relational table and use it inside of a CTE or a join or any other way you can use relational data. It makes it a lot easier to get that data in a format that people might need to do analytics or reports that would be difficult to do with another system, another NoSQL system.
And I think all this was possible because in MySQL we have that JSON data type, native data type, which is wonderful for the function, but also for replication, updating InnoDB and stuff. So it's very, very nice. And because this is the path we want to go, we have released in the lab for the Visual Studio, in the Visual Studio Code, the shell for it. There is something new also, and you will see soon extra on that. We have the relational database and JSON duality. So with the REST API that is also available in MySQL now, and this is also via the router, but provides you a lot of feature where you can access your data without knowing one single line of SQL, but secure and secure for the data, but also secure how to access it. So it's very something you should have a look at it. It's very, very nice.
And that's in the community edition.
Yes.
So a full REST API enabled by the database, and away you go.
Yeah, with the router.
Yeah, the REST API is through MySQL router.
Very cool. Okay. Well, before we break this up, is there any other things you want to cover, something we forgot, or something that you let the world know about?
I have to say, this is my first time at Percona Live, and I really hope I get to come back. This has been a great conference. I've met a lot of smart people, made a lot of contacts that I might not have made otherwise, and I think the content was fantastic. It really was. You guys did a great job.
Well, thank you. Ironically, I think I first met Fred at a MySQL Community Conference, which later became the Percona Live Conference. So it's kind of had a long, I would say torturous history. But it's been great having you two here, and I want to thank you. And hopefully we'll get together again soon.
Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.